Yeah, so I just finished up both weekends of the Diablo 4 beta, putting in approximately 30 to 40 hours of gameplay into it, and let me tell you, the game is a blast. Was having tons of fun playing the Rogue, Barbarian, Sorcerer, Druid. Unfortunately, I didn't get to try out the Necromancer this past weekend, but from the videos I've seen, geez, can the Necromancer be disgusting. Anyways, I just want to talk about my build that I had going for the Rogue. I had a Twisting Blades imbuement Rogue build going, and let me tell you, it was a blast. Probably the most fun class for myself, as I enjoy high mobility, high DPS character, and let me tell you, the Rogue fulfills all of that. One of the greatest things about this build is the Twisting Blades. On one of the perks, you can get a cooldown reduction of a maximum of 3 seconds for each enemy that a blade hits on its way back to you. So when you're fighting groups of mobs and you're able to spam your Twisting Blades constantly, you're going to be having such high cooldown reduction that you're able to just repeatedly spam all of your abilities. That includes Dash, your Shadow Imbuement, your Poison Imbuement, Twisting Blades itself, even though that doesn't even have a cooldown reduction. Yeah, with your specialization that you get for the Rogue, Hunter's Mark, I believe it's called. Once you hit that target enough and you fill up your gauge, you get unlimited energy for 4 seconds. So you're able to just constantly spam Twisting Blades, and that's where all your DPS comes from on a single target, because your Twisting Blades actually procs that signature as well. So during a boss fight, you're constantly spamming your Twisting Blades until that target is dead. The Rogue class has the single highest target DPS out of any of the classes that I have seen, and the only class that I have seen that's able to solo all the bosses in the beta up to level 25 in Fractured Peaks, including Ashava, the world boss. I haven't seen any other class that's able to do this, and I'll show you coming up at the end of this dungeon that I'm able to kill the Blood Bishop in under 8 seconds. That is crazy fast. This video was recorded during the open beta, so there is quite a bit of lag in this dungeon specifically, just because they were doing server maintenance while I was recording this. Later on in the video after this dungeon, I'm also going to do an in-depth dive of my items that I have on my class, as well as each ability that I spec'd into and why I spec'd into them, so please stay tuned for that.
I don't have enough energy. I need more time.
Alrighty, today I'm going to be talking about my Twisting Blades imbuement Rogue build I have going for the Diablo 4 open beta. For my basic skills, I went with Invigorating Strike just for the core regeneration of energy. And then for my core skill, I went with Twisting Blades, spec'd into Advanced Twisting Blades, which gives you cooldown reduction up to 3 seconds per blade that it goes through of total enemies. And then our movement ability is going to be Dash. Modifiers I have gives me increased 20% critical strike damage for 5 seconds for enemies that are hit by Dash. And then Weapon Mastery, we get 15% increased damage to healthy enemies, and then our swords do 9% increased damage. I personally did not get any subterfuge skills. I didn't feel like it was needed for our build. I went more the imbuement route, which is adding magical properties to our weapons. I went with Shadow Imbuement and Poison Imbuement. The Poison Imbuement is going to be specifically for single target DPS, where our Shadow Imbuement is for AoE mass damage, and as well as regenerating our energy for every person that we detonate with it. So each time you kill an enemy with the shadow damage, you generate 20 enemy, which in hordes, you're going to keep maximum energy at all times. I as well spec'd into Mixed Shadow, which is going to increase 12% of your non-physical damage, which goes really well with Shadow Imbuement, as well as Poison Imbuement for damage modifiers. Then for our ultimate, we went with the Shadow Clone, which pretty much does 60% of the damage that you're already currently doing, So the start of boss fights, you're going to use your shadow clone, and then do shadow, poison, and just repeatedly. Specializations, personally, I prefer inner sight, as I like to have max energy due to my weapons. It just allows you to spam and output more damage during boss fights. Combo points are pretty solid. It's just not what I was looking for in my build. Now for my items, the most important special skill you need on a legendary is our Twisting Blades Orbit. Once your daggers come back to you, it spins around for a few seconds, dealing an additional damage. That is the core item that you need to do this build. Everything else is not really needed. It's just to enhance your damage output and tankiness. Our boots give us 40% movement speed. Our pants give us 0.45% increased armor for 4 seconds. Anytime you deal damage, stacking up to 45%, which can make you extremely tanky. Our weapons deal 23% and 25% increased damage when you have a barrier. And then my my necklace, whenever you damage an elite, you get a barrier for 10 seconds, happening every 45 seconds. So with that 10-second shield, you automatically get an increase of 48% based on your weapons. And then when you have full resource, which is your energy, when you have that at full, you do an additional 29% damage. So when your specialization is procced and you have the 4 seconds of unlimited energy, and you have the shield going on from your necklace, you're doing additional, 40, 50, 60, 77% extra damage while those 2 items are going off, which is insane damage buff. Those people just got wrecked. Holy sh!
I'm not ready. Time to do that. I need more time. I'm not ready yet.
Honestly, it's a pretty fast time. It's a very fast time.